Boom, boom, shake the room. We should now be live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Race of Sevens. Gavra Racing GT7, Season 7, Round 7, where the top 7 are reversed for the sprint race tonight here at Deep Forest Raceway. So we've got all the 7s in tonight's race. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's having a great day. We're not going to waste any time and get straight into the action here at Deep Forest Raceway. It's another sprint race weekend, the final sprint of the season, and the way it works is we have a normal 15-minute qualifying session, of which the top 7 are reversed for the sprint race, and then we have the feature race that follows. The grid for that is determined by the pre-sprint qualifying. So let's go through the grid for the sprint race here in the GT7, Round 7, Season 7. The top 7 reversed, trying to get all the 7s in tonight. Cameron Kaboom qualified in 7th place, meaning he starts on pole position for the sprint race. Just behind him, qualifying in 6th, will start 2nd is Piero. 2nd in the championship is the number 41. Behind him, X-Natty G, car number 32 in the McLaren. Qualified 5th place, will start 3rd for the sprint. And alongside on the grid, his Premier Series rival, Tucson 0208, car number 27, starting 4th place. And his teammate just behind him, qualified 3rd in qualifying, starts 5th in the sprint. Car number 9 ahead of car number question mark in the Alfa Romeo. Is it on the roof? No, it's not on the roof. So the Alfa Romeo driver starts in 6th place. Bon Evil ahead of Play Dutchy, who took pole position in the qualifying session, meaning he not only gets an extra point in the championship, but he starts 7th place for the sprint. Just missing out on pole position for the sprint is Wolfie 907. Number 74 starts 8th place in the Alfa Romeo, ahead of his GT7 Season 3 Group B Championship rival, Aston F1. There's a lot of titles going across this grid, with the cameraman just getting a picture of the car behind him. Behind Aston, we have Dan Schneider in the Mercedes. No, that's not Dan Schneider. No, Dan's not here. I've got the grid has gone off my phone. Sorry, bear with me. Who started behind? Oh, yes, it was Littman, a new driver for tonight's race, because he's in the 2020 Mercedes AMG, and it's the Doctor in the 2016 BWT Mercedes AMG who starts in 11th place. Fett starting in 12th place, car number 46, starting ahead of car number 10, who starts not in 10th place, but in 13th at the back of the grid. And there is the grid for today's sprint race. Remember, the top 7 have been reversed from qualifying, and they will be reversed back for the main race. We've talked for long enough about qualifying. Let's get into the main action here in tonight's race at Deep Forest Raceway. 3.6 kilometres, 18 corners, 20 minutes of action, and it's lights out. And away we go here in Switzerland for the Deep Forest Grand Prix. The Porsche is off to a slow start as per usual. Cameron Kaboom leading the field away. Piero and X-Natty G side by side, with Bon Evil making it 3 wide on the inside. A little bit late, hits the McLaren. Toussaint slipping one up the inside. His teammate Tiger might try and follow him through the McLaren. The Porsche wheel to wheel, but Cameron Kaboom still leads the field away as they make their way through the technical first sector here in Switzerland, with Piero in 2nd place ahead of the quick starting Alfa Romeo in 3rd. Someone's off in the background. I think that was Dutchy getting ahead of Tiger, who's picked up a 5/10 penalty. Now going side by side with Aston in the Ford GT, who's made his way up a couple of positions. Now up into 7th, down to 8th, as Tiger goes back down the inside, down the hill through the forest, swooping left-hander that is turn 9. The Doctor now down the inside of Aston, making a little bit of contact as the other BWT Mercedes making up moves in this race. Someone's round this wheel spin. I think it's Aston who might have made contact, but I think it's Wolfie who's got rear bumper damage. Now down to 11th place. Fett now wheel to wheel with, I believe it was Littman in the Mercedes, but Cameron Kaboom leading the field away through the hairpin, followed by Piero. Toussaint going for a move on the inside with a wide. Bon Evil 99 as a Mercedes off. Tiger's up an extra position as I believe it's the Doctor who's hit the outside wall on the exit of turn 14. As they swoop down and up the hill through turn 17 and 18, Cameron Kaboom defensive to the inside as he starts lap
2 out of 20 minutes. Piero up into the lead of the race. Bonnieville making it through wide, going in towards turn 1. Piero in the middle of both of them. Darcy's hit Toussaint, who sits Bonnieville, who's gone off on the barriers at turn 1. He's now going to drop a couple of positions down to 6th, maybe 7th place, because Tiger's got the run up into 6th, but contact with Darcy hitting the back of the Mercedes, who hit the back of the Alfa Romeo, causing Bonnieville to go off the track down at turn 1. I think the stewards might have a look at that after the race, of which Cameron Kaboom still leads. Any penalties that are awarded in the sprint will be applied to the sprint race as well. Points for the top 6 up for grabs. Currently being contested by Cameron Kaboom, Piero, Toussaint, Natty, Dutchy and Tiger. Your current top 6. Cameron Kaboom in the chat saying it was a chaotic first lap. Indeed it was. Bonnieville down to 7th place under pressure from the Doctor, who's got to serve a 5/10 penalty. Black Country Mush from the back of the field has gained 4 positions in the first 2 laps of this race. Good start from him. Fet with a 5/10 penalties dropped to the back of the grid. Moves being made up front with Natty on the inside of Toussaint. Piero trying to go round the outside of Cameron Kaboom there, 2 by 2 in the run down towards turn 1. It's a very long run from the hairpin at turn 14. Now Dutchy making up moves, a good run through the hairpin, gets the jump on the McLaren. Porsche now trying to set up a move on the Mercedes in front, whilst also under pressure. They're 2 by 3. Pierre and Cameron Kaboom side by side, 3 wide behind. Natty on the inside of Toussaint, on the inside of Dutchy, but Cameron with the inside line on Pierre gets the move done up into the lead of the race. Maybe Natty might try and follow him through, but he's side by side with the Mercedes. Meanwhile, Pierre back down the inside of Cameron Kaboom through turn 3, 4 and 5. Can the Frenchman get it done? He's got one more opportunity for the inside, not on this occasion, but Toussaint now defending from Dutchy, who's going down the inside, not quite. Tiger now on the inside, and McLaren's gone a little bit deep in towards turn 6. Now 7, 8 and 9, the downhill section under the bridge and over the bridge that stops the drivers from diving straight into the river that runs alongside of the back straight. Pierre picking up a 1 second time penalty somewhere within that middle sector, not sure where, but it's going to drop him behind, I'd guess. He's going to probably drop down to 6th place, maybe even down to 7th. Looking back up front, Toussaint trying to put the pressure on Cameron Kaboom, with Tiger now maybe looking for a move on play Dutchy. Natty looking for a move on Tiger, down the inside. The McLaren and the Porsche side by side, but the Porsche gets the better exit, having had the outside line. Maintains 4th position in this race. For anyone wondering how long's left in this race, unfortunately we can't see the timer, but if you look in the bottom left you can see how long we've been going for after this 20-minute race. Toussaint and Play Dutchy side by side, contact as they make their way in towards turn 1. The only 2 drivers who have won GT titles in this league, and it's Toussaint who comes out on top in this particular battle down at the first corner. Piero now down to 6th position after serving his 1 second time penalty ahead of Bonnieville, who was taken out on lap 2 by his teammate. Well, the contact wasn't with his teammate, but caused by his teammate. He looked for a small gap on the inside of Bonnieville. Wolfie now trying to look for a move on the inside of the Doctor, but the corner didn't quite open up for him. Let's look back up the top. Hello Lucas in the chat, I'm doing good. Thank you very much, hope you're having a great day. Bonnieville dives one down the inside and gets up into 6th place ahead of Piero. 2 drivers who will look to make their way back through the field in this 20-minute sprint race. We've had 5.5 minutes. Natty, myself, now slowing down for half a second. We'll have to serve it on the next lap, picking up a 5/10 penalty. Dutchy now looking for a move on the inside of Toussaint, thinks better of it. Tiger might use this to try and go round the outside. Like maybe it might have been a little bit contact, but it's the most inconsistent hairpin you'll ever see. The Doctor running a little bit wide as Pierre has actually dropped down to 9th place, so maybe having served another time penalty, or it might have actually had a bit of a spin considering how much time he's lost. But Wolfie trying to set up the Doctor. But up front we've got Cameron Kaboom defending from Toussaint, Tiger defending from Dutchy. They're 2 by 2 going in towards the first corner. Tiger on the inside of Dutchy. Toussaint trying to work his way around the outside of Cameron Kaboom, and it's looking good for the BCR drivers in at the start of this race. Toussaint and Tiger running in 2nd and 3rd respectively. Dutchy trying to go down the inside of the Porsche. Look how close the top 6 are separated in this race. Cameron's off. Tiger now up into the lead of the race. Contact between Dutchy and Toussaint. Cameron Kaboom now finds himself off in the wall, I think 3 wide going through turn 6. wasn't an option. Now Natty side by side with Bon Evil down the hill through turn 9. The McLaren now up into 4th place, capitalising on these battles. Dutchy trying to go down the inside of Toussaint in towards turn 10. He's got the move stick up into 4th place. The McLaren, the Mercedes and the Alfa Romeo now going side by side and wheel to wheel. Toussaint picks up a 5/10 penalty, which I believe he'll serve on the next lap as opposed to this one. But the McLaren slows down for half a second to serve his 5/10 penalty. But drama in the start of this race. Cameron Kaboom has already made his way back up into 5th place after getting punted into the wall. The Doctor now trying to go down the inside of the Season 3 Group B champion, Wolfie 907, who's dropped to 9th place in this race after starting in 8th. Looking to try and get that position back on the Doctor as they go through turn 17 and 18, the final 2 corners of this circuit. Lots of elevation as they make their way in towards turn 1, 3 wide. Once again, this time Bon Evil's on the inside. Dutch in the middle, Toussaint trying to work his way around the outside with a 5/10 penalty. That's not going to work because Cameron Kaboom on the inside finds the gap. The door's left wide open with Toussaint having taken the wider line. And now it's the inside line for the 4th and 5th corner of this circuit. And Mercedes now maintaining ahead of the Lexus, but does have a 5/10 penalty to serve. Natty trying to find his way through, taking alternate lines. You saw Toussaint slightly ran over the white line. Might pick up another half second. We'll have to wait and see if that time penalty increases. It doesn't look like it. Safe for now. But 8 minutes into this 20-minute sprint, and Tiger Assassin finds himself at the head of the train, leading Bon Evil from Dutchy. Toussaint will slow down for half a second to serve a time penalty. Cameron Kaboom will jump back to his incident in just a second. But apologies, just had a text that I thought was important. Toussaint down the inside of... No, that was Cameron Kaboom getting the move done on Toussaint after he slowed down for his penalty. But just going back to Cameron Kaboom's incident early on, he was on the outside. I think there was contact before. I think Toussaint tried to let him go. But then they tried going through wide through turn 6 and being on the outside in a game that has ping-pong physics. It didn't quite work for Cameron Kaboom, unfortunately. Dutchy a little bit wide through turn 1, trying to set up a move on Bon Evil. We've got a train behind them. Let's cut back to the action of the Doctor now getting ahead of his BWT teammate, side by side in what looks like 2 identical Mercedes, but 4 years between the 2 cars. The Doctor side by side with his new Dutch teammate, Portman's or Lakeman, depending on which network you call it by, but the Dutchman's round and the 2 BWT teammates collide. It's not the first time we've seen BWT teammates crash. It is the first for Gran Turismo, but not in reality, and that's a massive shame for both drivers. Portman on his debut as well, or it's Gavra Racing debut, probably not his GT7 debut, otherwise that'd be a pretty impressive start to the game if you've already unlocked the 2020 Mercedes AMG GT3. But we're nearly at the halfway mark through the sprint race, and a track that provides so much overtaking. We've seen a lot of it already. We're only 10 minutes into a 20-minute race plus a couple more laps as Black Country Mush gets ahead of Wolfie 907. The Alfa Romeo is just going to sit behind for now because he knows he's got a long start-finish straight where he can get back ahead of the Mercedes using the power advantage of the Alfa Romeo. Speaking of, that's closest. Tiger squeezing Bon Evil up to the inside wall here on lap 8. Goes down the inside and takes the lead of the race. Actually, seeing as we're on a replay, let's have another look at how close that really was. Going in towards turn 1. To be fair, it looked like Bon Evil was going to the outside. Tiger was covering that inside, but there was a gap just about to cut off width on the inside. Hard racing between the front runners. Tiger now under pressure from Play Dutchy, having been overtaken by the Dutchman's teammate. Cameron Kaboom up into 4th place ahead of Natty, Piero and Toussaint, who the Brit picking up another time penalty, dropping him down to 7th place, just out of the sprint points. But hello and welcome to everyone tuning in. If you're just watching, this is the 20-minute sprint race before the, I forgot how many laps, 33 lap feature race I believe it was. 11 minutes in, as you can see by the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Bon Evil, who started this race in 6th place, finds himself in the lead. The top 3 starting in 5th, 6th and 7th, and the bottom 3 behind them starting in 1st, 2nd and 3rd. The order not exactly accurate, but you get the point nevertheless. Tiger now down the inside of Born Evil into turn 1. Natty on the inside of Cameron Kaboom. The two make their moves and make their moves stick. Tiger now into the lead of the race. Dutchy ahead of his teammate. Natty ahead of Cameron Kaboom as they go down the start-finish straight for the 8th time in the sprint race to start lap number 9. However many laps we get, it's a question of how quick the drivers are, as they're 3 wide for the 3rd time this race. Here on lap 9, Born Evil with the inside line. Tiger now opting for the middle as Dutchy tries to swoop it round the outside of both of them. Can he make this one stick? Wheel to wheel with his teammate, now wheel to wheel with Tiger Assassin. The two German manufactured cars side by side, but it's the Brit who takes 2nd place ahead of Play Dutchy for now. Maybe a patient game being played, but not long's left in the sprint. Well, the top 6 can get points. 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. It's the point system for the sprint. Natty trying to size up a move and Play Dutchy through the middle part of the track. He can't really go for any moves here. He's got to be alongside. Although here's a good overtaking opportunity if you're brave enough to risk it. Now to all the viewers, I think this is it. Brace yourselves, get your popcorn ready. Don't leave the screen if you need to get some. Born Evil leading. Down the back straight they go. 12.5 minutes into this race. Lap 9 of however many. Born Evil leading. Tiger, Cameron Kaboom looking for a move on Natty. But the Brit's late on the brakes. And he's hit Born Evil, who's hit Tiger. Everyone's round. Chaos here at the hairpin of Deep Forest Raceway. Dutchy finds himself in the lead. But Cameron Kaboom way too late on the brakes. Down in towards the hairpin at turn 14. He's gone from about 4th to 1st and back down to 7th as Natty G now leads the sprint at the end of 9 to start lap number 10. Born Evil will not be happy about that especially, nor will Tiger Assassin. The two from 1st and 2nd. Bonnie's now sent it on Play Dutchy and he's hit his teammate. Dutchy now drops to 4th place. Pierre getting involved in the mix. But drama unfolding here on lap 9 and 10 here on the sprint. Natty now finds himself with about a 1 second lead over Play Dutchy in 2nd. Piero's lagging in 3rd place. But Tiger in 4th, or down to 4th, Born Evil down to 5th. Getting taken out at the hairpin and losing his cool at turn 1. Two Saints been able to caught back up to this battle, up into 6th place. But an incident that will be and is being looked at by the stewards. But lots of drama unfolding here at Deep Forest Raceway. We saw it provide lots of overtaking opportunities when it made its debut last season. It's certainly living up to the expectations 1 season later. But back up front, it's Natty who leads from Play Dutchy. Piero in 3rd under pressure from Tiger, now in 4th. Born Evil in 5th, Two Saint in 6th. Cameron Kaboom in 6th. Wolfie now side by side with Black Country Mush. Up into 8th place, or back where he started, wheel to wheel with the Brit in the Mercedes as they exit off turn 14 and 15, 16, 17, 18. Why there are so many corners that aren't actually corners, I don't know. Tiger now down the inside of Piero to move himself up into a podium position for the sprint. It's 6 points for 3rd place, which he will try and use to his advantage to close down his championship rivals. One of them being the race leader. But yeah, believe it or not, from the hairpin, well, I'll tell you in a second, a massive slide from the McLaren Mercedes, Tiger to say, pretty much everything's the same in this game. But this corner here is actually turn 10 out of 18. Look at the track map, it looks like there's only 2 corners, or 2 or 3 corners. In fact, there's 8. All of these little kinks do count as corners on the official Gran Turismo track map for Deep Forest Raceway and statistics. And that slide has just brought Dutchy back into slipstream range and overtaking contentions, and with Play Dutchy brings the rest of the pack. Piero wide down at the hairpin, he's lost the position to Born Evil. Two Saint might just find a way through him back. He actually backs off and lets the Mercedes go through. I don't think Piero's internet was particularly great at this point in the race. But meanwhile, the 2 greatest drivers ever to join this league, Play Dutchy next Natty G, are side by side now down the start-finish straight, going in towards the first corner. The Porsche with the inside line, the McLaren trying to swoop it right round the outside. Can he make this one stick? Holds it round the outside, still going wheel to wheel with Play Dutch. He's got the good exit off 1 in towards 2, the right-hander of turn 3, but not far enough alongside to commit to the move. The Brit will just have to settle for second place with only 3.5 minutes left to go in the sprint race. It's Dutchy who leads, but Natty, Tiger, your top 3. Bonnie in 4th, Toussaint and Pierre in 5th and 6th, scoring the final points up for grabs in this race. All the drivers on the red striped soft compound tyres, the grippiest tyre available for this race weekend, as the tyre wear reduced from times 4 to times 2 for the sprint race. Let's just have a little look back down at the battle for 8th place, being led by Wolfie, although with a 1 second time penalty. That's going to Black Country Mush, Doctor and Aston to look for those moves. Speaking of, Tiger's trying to go down the inside of Natty, 3 wide in towards the hairpin. The McLaren trying to go down the inside of the Porsche as Bonnie Evil tries to go round the outside of Tiger, but runs wide over the curb and off the track. Let's just have a quick look back down for the battle. There's the Doctor on the inside of Black Country Mush. Ashton making contact with the Mercedes. Wolfie has to take avoiding action. It's not the first time Wolfie's had to avoid a car that's been sideways in front of him. Meanwhile, Dutchy parking his car in the middle of the circuit. Tiger now trying to go side by side. Bonnie Evil's hit the back of the McLaren, who just about keeps it within the white lines and off the grass. So that allows Tiger to slip one up the inside and move his way up into second place. With 2.5 minutes left to go in the sprint. Let's just have a quick look back down at the Doctor, who's still ahead of Aston F1. The Black Country Mush in 10th place, ahead of Wolfie, who's dropped down to 11th after that penalty. Portman's and Betts in 12th and 13th place, running up the back of the field. 13 drivers, 13 laps. One Evil drifting his Alfa Romeo through turn 10. Probably not the fastest way to go around that corner, but certainly one of the best looking. The Kiwi McLaren trying to move his way up ahead of the VCR Porsche. These two fighting for, I think it's 5th place in the Drivers' Championship or something around that. I haven't actually updated the standings after this race at the time of recording because there are still penalties to be decided. I believe Play Dutchy is about to start the final lap of the race. As you can see in the bottom left hand corner of the screen, the lap is it's 1 minute 25 seconds for a lap, and we've got a minute left on the timer. So Dutchy starts the last lap in the lead of the race, or is he? Because Tiger's going to go for a move down the inside of his fellow Porsche companion, wheel to wheel. Tiger now up into the lead of this race on the last lap of the sprint. That could be a crucial overtake for the Brit if he can keep it by the end of the long. I don't know how long the back straight is, but it's long. Natty running in the podium position ahead of Bon Evil. Good news for Bon Evil is he's ahead of Piero, one of his championship rivals. Bad news is he's behind the Play Dutchy, who's running in second place. But after 14 laps of racing, look how close the top 5 are running, even the top 6. Piero not too far behind Toussaint, and we can pick up the pieces of any dramas that might unfold at the hairpin for one last time in the sprint. Tiger leads the field away. Down the back straight they go. The car's reaching up to 50 odd miles an hour, 160 miles per hour perhaps, as they get to the breaking point. 2 by 2, Tiger and Natty with the inside line. Dutchy and Bonnie going to try and swoop it round the outside. Bonnie late on the brakes. Dutchy in second place, might have to look in his mirrors because he's got Bonnie Evil coming, who's got Natty right behind him. Toussaint's had a good exit as well off the final corner. The Tiger Assassin might just keep it here. Over the hill they go. This could be a drag race on the line. Side by side. Photo finish. But it's Tiger who wins the sprint race here at Deep Forest ahead of Dutchy, ahead of Bonnie Evil in 3rd place. Natty just missing out on 3rd place as he beats his F1 rival. Toussaint in 5th. Piero in 6th place. Look how close together these drivers are. With Cameron Kaboom down in 7th place. The Doctor in 8th. Aston in 9th. Black Country Mush crosses the line in 10th place ahead of Wolfie in 11th. Footman's in 12th ahead of Bett, who rounds the final corner in 13th place. And what a dramatic end to the sprint race. We've still got 32 racing laps of action to come your way, so don't go anywhere unless you're grabbing a fresh bag of popcorn, maybe a glass of wine. And that's it. Tiger Assassin wins the sprint race ahead of Dutchy, and Bon Evil is your top 3 Now let's get into the race. We go through the grid quickly just before the race starts. Let's get all the stuff on the screen. So from the back of the grid to the top, we've got Black Country Mission 13th place, just to go through your quali grid one more time. Black Country Mission 13th, Vet in 12th, ahead behind the Doctor in 11th, Fortman's in 10th, Aston in 9th, Wolfie in 8th, Cameron Kaboom in 7th, Piero in 6th, Natty in 5th, Toussaint in 4th, Tiger in 3rd place, and the front row, Born Evil in 2nd, with Dutchy taking pole position. I hope you guys are ready for this, because I certainly am. I'm going to take a quick sip to drink. That wasn't exactly what I'd call quick, but you know, it matches my driving ability. Where are we? Oh yes, the feature race. 33 racing laps of this 3.6 kilometre circuit, 18 corners, 5 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go. The Alfa Romeo of Bon Evil off to a good start, as per usual. Dutchy and Tiger Assassin bogging down in the first phase in the start. Natty trying to work his way around the outside of a couple of cars. Contact between him and Piero. There's a car on the background. Piero and Wolfie side by side with Natty, who's been forced off into the wall. Piero also off into the wall, and that's Marcus Armstrong down into 12th place with the Doctor down to 13th after running wide at turn 1. Bon Evil ahead of Dutch. He got the jump off the line. Toussaint up into 3rd place. His teammate down to 4th. Wolfie with a really good start up into 5th place after starting in 8th. Cameron Kaboom in 6th will probably be looking to be a little bit more cautious going into this race after the events that occurred off the back of the sprint. But Bon Evil leads the field away down the back straight, and the train already forming as quickly as it does. We've got a 1.7 metres per second wind speed heading probably about southeast, if the map is facing north. Are we going to see any moves here at the end of the straight? Indeed we are. Toussaint looking to go for a move on his GT rival. Play Dutchy down the inside. A little bit of contact, but enough racing room left between the two. Meanwhile at the back, Natty with a 3-car overtake. I'm sorry, but I really enjoyed this. I'm sorry, I actually know, seeing as we do have the replay feature, so I will use replay from now on, seeing as I could on a keyboard. So Toussaint with a great move on Play Dutchy, but meanwhile let's just have a look at this. Seeing as it's me and I'm doing the commentary, we've got to pay respect to this. With a wide line, all 3 of them go slightly wide, but not 1, not 2, but a 3-car overtaken up into 9th place. Look at this on the background between Black Country Mission and Aston, getting very aggressive between the two. Contact 1, 2, 3 bits, 4 bits of contact. Black Country Mission almost being sent into a spin as they go down the start-finish straight. Let's just keep an eye on this. More bits of contact being made as Aston and Fett. Meanwhile, Dutchy and Toussaint now side by side. We won't watch the battle for second place between these two drivers, the two champions on the grid. Play Dutchy with the inside line. Toussaint trying to hold it round the outside. Can he make this one stick? Comes inside for turn 4, the outside for turn 5, but it just taps into the back and behind of that bright orange and black Porsche. His teammate Tiger Assassin in 4th place, running closely behind his companion. Cameron Kaboom in 5th place, Fort in 6th place ahead of Wolfie, who's dropped down to 7th place, but is ahead of Piero, running in 8th. Natty making his comeback through the field up into 9th place after being dropped down through the back of the field. By the time they got to turn 2, Bon Evil's got a decent lead over Play Dutchy, who might be trying to look to save some fuel in this race and have a shorter pit stop time. Cameron Kaboom, I think, slowing down to serve a penalty, brings the Mercedes closer to him. Is the Mercedes going to have a go down in towards the hairpin? Yes, he is. Late on the brakes, down the inside, side by side. Look at Wolfie trying to go round the outside. He uses the good exit of the Alfa Romeo, and he's now going wheel to wheel with the BWT Mercedes AMG. As someone I've seen a blue arrow disappear from the map. I think that's Fett leaving the race. Whilst those two go wheel to wheel, we'll just have a quick look up the head of the field to see if any moves will be made in towards turn 1. Not on this occasion, so we look back towards the battle for 5th place as Wolfie sends one down the inside. Cameron Kaboom makes a little bit of contact with the Lexus. Fortman tries to follow the Alfa Romeo through, but tucks in to 7th place for now. So Wolfie now back up into 5th place, started in 8th. Behind them, Black Country Mush ahead of the Doctor, running in 10th place in the Mercedes. But the gaps have opened up quite quickly in this race, with the likes of Natty and Piero being towards the back of the grid. The front four pulled away from this mini pack of cars that is being led by Wolfie. Cameron Kaboom in 6th place. Is he going to choose to work together on Wolfie, or does he think if he goes ahead he can begin to close down that gap to the cars in front? Speaking of, they're 3 wide going in towards the hairpin. Tuesday on the inside of both of them, takes the lead of the race. Dutchy trying to go round the outside of his teammate Bon Evil's lost a couple of positions down at the hairpin. Behind them, the action's only unfolding as Pierre's up into 7th place ahead of the Dutchman in the Mercedes. But going down back the start-finish straight, turn 18, we're about to see some moves being made. They're 3 wide once again. Played Dutchy on the inside of Bon Evil, on the inside of Toussaint, but begins to tuck into a 2x2 formation as Bon Evil takes the lead of the race. Down towards the first corner, Toussaint running a little bit wide, allows Play Dutchy to split one up the inside, and the Dutchman now up into 2nd place. Toussaint tucks in behind the Porsche. Cameron Kaboom making the move on Wolfie, sees him up into 5th place, and Natu has set the fastest lap of the race at 26.6, which will likely be beaten throughout the course of the race. But look at that, she's on a charge through the field. He's not wasting any time. Has already caught up to the back of this pack, which does contain Piero. Meanwhile, Black Country Bush making contact with the Doctor, who drifts his way through turn 7. Back up to the front of the field. Mod Evil somehow finds himself leading this race after leading, then being dropped down to 3rd, and leads once again all within the same lap. All within the same 3.6 kilometres. He's leading at this point, and then he dropped to 3rd a lap ago, but he's found his way back onto the lead of the race. You can see headlights in the tunnel pulling out to the inside because that's ex-Natty G. Now up into 8th place. Contact between Piero and Wolfie going through the hairpin. Meanwhile, up front, the gaps have just opened up a little bit, about 4 tenths between the drivers. Not going to be close enough for anyone to go for a move. Meanwhile, we might see some moves here in the midfield. Piero and Wolfie going side by side, wheel to wheel. But here comes ex-Natty G with the overspeed there, 3 wide going towards the first corner. Natty on the inside of his teammate, forcing him a little bit wide. Piero now switches back to the inside and gets up into 6th place. Wolfie Fortman's now side by side. The Alfa Romeo and the Mercedes wheel to wheel through the first sector, but it's the Alfa Romeo and the Irishman of Wolfie 907 who's up into 8th place, now behind his teammate who's up into 7th place and is really carving his way through the field. Next car on the list is Piero. It's going to be a slightly tougher job. The man running in 6th place in the race, 2nd place in the championship. Tiger just keeping up with the front 4. Let's have a look. Dutchy with a lot more fuel than the cars around him, possibly saving a little bit of fuel running in higher engine mode, 4 or 5, or lower engine mode, but higher numbers. As the lights turn off automatically of the cars exiting the tunnel, making their way down and towards the hairpin. Let's ride on board actually with the Alfa Romeo of Wolfie 907, who can see the 3 cars in front of him. Might get a better long-shot overtake of the McLaren, gaining on his fellow McLaren driver on the grid, not teammates. One's teammate with Wolfie, the other's teammate with Black Country Mush. But back up front, trying to quickly change cameras whilst changing cars. Dutchy and Toussaint now battling for 2nd place on the track. The Dutchman running in 2nd place, about 8-9 tenths behind his teammates. I've just adjusted my mic, so please let me know in the chat if you're watching this live if it begins to sound really bad. By bad, as if it's in my mouth, let's just say that. You know that really awkward quality, not awkward, awful quality when the mic sounds like it's right in front of someone's mouth. Trying to avoid that. I ended up trying to get a new mic because I had a beautiful comment from Viper the other day saying it was so smooth when doing the Weekend League interview. So we might not change it, we might just keep it for commentary. We've got kind of two or three major trains forming in this race. Bon Eagle leading the train
of GT7 and Tiger, the battle for the lead of this race. Just behind them, we've got Cameron Kaboom ahead of Pierre and Natty. And then we've kind of got Portmans and Wolfie in 8th and 9th. I guess you also have Black Country Mush, the Doctor and Aston running in 10th, 11th and 12th. So no one is lonely in this race, apart from maybe the marshals standing on the side of the circuit. The wind speed hasn't changed much, but it has certainly changed in terms of direction. It's now a massive tailwind. Well, I say massive. It's a tailwind down towards the first corner, which will make adjusting the braking zones slightly more challenging for these drivers going in towards not only the first corner, but turn 10 as well, the hairpin. Not turn 10, turn 14. Pierre goes purple to the first sector. Current fastest lap of this race is by Mr. Tiger Assassin, 1:26.2. But let's just have a look at the lap times. We've got 1 minute 26.5, 26.8 for the top two. We've got Piero 26.9, 27.3. So the front runners certainly lapping quicker than the cars behind them. That's often how racing works. But if you need to explain it to you, then the cars that run faster are the cars that are ahead. Speaking of, ex-Nasser G going for a move on Piero. Down the back straight in towards the hairpin. McLaren late on the brakes and gets the move done up into 6th place. And we'll now start the hunt for Cameron Kaboom running in 5th place. Tiger Assassin keeping onto the back of his teammates. Keeping onto the back of Play Dutchie, who's just lost touch with his teammate ever so slightly. About a second or at best separating the two drivers, but look at the consistency in the last 2 laps for Play Dutchie. Only 4,000 between those two last lap times. And it's a skill that not many drivers possess, and it's one that Play Dutchie manages to almost perfection week in, week out. He's able to set quick consecutive lap times, one after the other. And they're consistent as well. I mean, look, you can see my lap time is 26.7, 27.3, 26.9, 26.8. Yeah, okay, there might have been some overtakes in some of these lap times, but every week you could look at Play Dutchie's lap times and they're often consistent. If he's got clean air in front of him, he's not reel to reel and with anyone else on the circuit. Dutchie might have made a mistake somewhere within that lap. He's 8/10 off his personal best and under pressure from his teammate down towards the hairpin at turn 14. And I think his teammate's more than happy at this phase of the race just to bump his Mercedes driver along and bring him closer to the leaders. Might be saving a little bit of fuel as well. Feeling Tiger steering wheel, only 2.5 tenths off his personal best, I believe that is, or off his last lap time. Let's have a look at the time. I don't know what that is. It could be the distance. No, it's not the difference. I can't really see what it says. I'm sitting too far back. You don't really want to see what I look like. I mean, no, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, if I had a face cam, I'm just literally lying back here. Normally I stand up for commentary, it really gets me in the mood, but I'm here for a nice, chill commentary session for a race that's definitely not going to be chill. So I thought, you know, if I'm going to be screaming and shouting, I better go and make myself comfortable for this. I've got my source of hydration right next to me. Obviously, you know, they're sponsor, so other liquids are available, apart from bleach. That's not recommended. H2O is a good start. Moving on from liquids that we can and cannot drink. Lap 9 of 33, nearly a third of the way through this race, and it's not as... What's the word I'm looking for? It's not as chaotic as the sprint race, but that was to be expected when you reverse the top 7. Can you imagine if we reversed the whole grid like we've had in previous seasons? That would have been... Well, the marshals would have had to take the rest of the season off. They'd probably had a lot to do. So let me know, guys, in the comments of this video or in the chat if you're watching, if you prefer these kind of casual style of commentary. You're kind of just talking about random things throughout the race whilst talking about the racing, as opposed to kind of a Crofty or Martin Brundle style of commentary.
I say, or in other words, a professional style of commentary. You know, they're always talking about the race, or they're always talking about a driver. Let me know which one you think. I will mix it up between the two, either throughout the race or throughout the season. I feel like I was a little bit serious in the last one at Dragonfell Gardens. Didn't really make many jokes, didn't really go off topic. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you, and hello to everyone who is tuning in. I hope you are having a wonderful day, a wonderful evening. I hope things are well. Hopefully this is a great way to cheer you up if you're not having a good day. The sound of my voice during a Gran Turismo commentary. If you don't like the sound of my voice, or you don't like racing, then this is probably not the stream for you. That's a massive tank slapper on the exit of turn 14. That definitely got the hairs raised. And Tiger Assassin, the trousers might be a slightly different shade of colour than when the fire red lights went out. But he kept it well. Has lost time to his teammate, 1.9 seconds off his personal best. He's probably a little bit closer maybe to Cameron Kaboom than his teammate now after that mistake. A third of the way into this race. Let's have a look in towards turn 1. Wolfie and Portman side by side. Wolfie running a little bit wide onto the grass, and he's going to try and keep his bumper and set himself up for a move maybe around the outside. That would be impressive if he can pull that one off. Let's ride on board on the bumper of the Alfa Romeo. That's a massive tank battle again from Wolfie. I say again, that's his first, I think. First one came from Tiger Assassin, but the second in 2 laps. Wolfie down to 9th after starting this race in 8th place, and actually picks up a 1-second time penalty, which I think can be served this lap. Indeed it will, as you can see by the yellow box saying he'll be forced to decelerate at the next penalty line. Here's a question for you guys in the comments. Let me know what you prefer. Do you prefer the penalty gates that we have? Here's an example. The yellow boxes, you'll see them here. The doctor goes through them now. So if you do pick up a time penalty, you serve whatever time penalty you have to serve down at those gates. Or do you prefer the GT Sport style, or the drivers have to manually slow down and serve their time penalty? They can do it anywhere, whenever. Personally, I do like the penalty gates. It punishes the drivers more, and it it reduces the Austria effect. The Austria effect was basically you could run wide at the first corner, track extend, gain time, pick up a 5/10 penalty, and then serve it all at the hairpin at turn 3. Because you'd brake at your normal marker, but the game thought you were slowing down, because maybe they thought you could brake at the 50 metre mark. I don't know. You could basically serve 8/10 of a penalty down at the third corner of Austria. So, it didn't really punish the drivers. So for that track, I believe we actually put it on strong for when it got to Austria. And it didn't really matter because drivers just could serve a 3-second time penalty over 3 laps. And it caused a collision, would cause collisions with cars being ghosted in the corner, then unghosting, which is why we had to amend the rule saying you can't go through ghosted cars even if they're serving a time penalty. However, someone who will be looking to go past rather than through another car is X-Nat-G, the best GT7 commentator there's ever been at Gavra Racing. I say the best, the only one, but that still gives me it still gives me the chance to say that I'm the best because I'm the only one. And being the GT admin, I guess I give myself that role because who else is going to stop me? Anyway, let's not get bogged down over who's the best Gran Turismo commentator here at Gavra Racing. Definitely me. But speaking of me, I'm going to go for a move on the inside of Cameron Kaboom. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. Maybe to the inside. Massive grip from Cameron Kaboom. I've really lost the plot. But we're going to stick with this battle for a little bit. No, we're not. Let's look at the leaders on board. Play Dutchie has caught up to the back of his teammate, Bon Evil. We've had a waffle for about 3 laps. Let's move on from the waffle. That's probably why so many people leave, because they don't know what they're tuning into. People thinking they want to watch 33 laps of Deep Forest Raceway, and then they end up talking about who's the best commentator in the GT League. No, but we've got some great commentators at Gavra Racing. On a serious note, we do have, and we have had, some great commentators. Jack's doing the F1 Weekend League. He's a legend. Great commentary over there. You should definitely check him out, which you can do if you're subscribed to the Twitch, or you can watch it all back on YouTube. Either way, we've got a few past commentators on the grid. We've got Tiger Assassin, GT7, Hey Dutchie's done a few. We've got myself, Wolfie, done two rounds of Rocket League. Black Country Mush done a race at the Academy. Speaking of running in 12th place, looking to try and get ahead of Aston, who hasn't yet done commentary. Maybe we'll have to get him in the box one day. Bonneville leads the field away on lap 14 of 33. The medium compound tyre starting to show a little bit of wear on the Alfa Romeo. We're approaching the pit window for the soft compound tyres, and I know what you're thinking, that's a little bit early. We're not even halfway through this race. Well, unlike the Formula 1 games, it's not really a crossover point between the tyres. A crossover point is a puncture, and that doesn't really exist in this game either. So I'd rather be on worn softs, as in, let's say Bonneville was on softs now with that tyre wear. I'd rather be on those softs than fresh mediums if you asked me to do a quali lap. Let's put it that way. Those soft tyres will probably still be quicker than those medium tyres, but let's hope those medium tyres are quicker than played actually behind, who I believe is saving fuel, only doing 158 miles per hour, sat behind in the slipstream of Bonneville. You can see how much more fuel Play Dutchie's got than Bonneville. So it looks like the Dutchman is in a good position to have a very short pit stop when he needs to make it. Camera Kaboom, next FG, Piero 62930. Please correct me if I got that wrong. I try so hard to remember the numbers, but I never do. Are closing in on the back of Tiger Assassin after that mistake. It looks like the Brit hasn't been able to catch back up to his teammate, and is being drawn closer and closer to the battle for 5th place, which will then become the battle for 4th place when Camera Kaboom catches up, and he's bringing Natty and Piero along with him. Meanwhile, behind, contact as Wolfie's been rear-ended by Fortmans, and apologies if that sounded bad. This stream is family friendly, and Black Country Mercy's gone to Kenny Marshall. Black Country Mercy's seen his ex-girlfriend in the crowd down at turn 1, and he's taken a very aggressive approach to dealing with the breakup, it seems. That was a good analogy, actually. Obviously, apologies if that does cause any offence to Black Country Wish. But you know, that's what I mean by a more relaxed sort of commentary, rather than going, he's off at turn 1. You know, I was going to say lighten it up a little bit, but speaking about killing someone isn't exactly, you know, shining the sun on anything. But we've got a nice 4-way fight for 4th place. Actually, you know what? Seeing as we're going to make a new rule, I can't remember who it is actually, and I don't think it's me. It's not me. Camera Kaboom saying we love jokes and all that in the commentary. I mean, I'm just trying to create a nice, chill, relaxed environment for everyone watching. There might be some poor kid trying to do, you know, he's revising for his exams, and you've seen that Gavra Racing's gone live on Twitch, and he's like, oh, I might check that one out whilst I'm doing my quadratic equations or my Romeo and Juliet, and yeah, just, you know, kind of making everyone's day a little bit better as they tune in to racing it in Gran Turismo. That wasn't the best way I could have phrased that. There was definitely better ways of phrasing that. Oh, I realised I've dragged my mic further away from my mouth as that went on. For the last 3 laps, we're going to end up over here at one point. Let's not do that. Let's not sound like we're walking out the commentary box. Speaking of walking out, Tiger Assassin might be about to drive out of 4th place as Camera Kaboom might drive into that. That was really bad. Please edit that out. Whoever uploads this to YouTube, just edit that out, because that was really bad. I tried to link it in. Camera Kaboom saying he's finishing coursework as Portman's is trying to finish the move from Wolfie. So it is all. I've lost the word. let's just ignore, let's pretend lap 16 never happened. This is actually lap 16. Gavra trying to find his way ahead of Tiger Assassin and will try and make his way through the field. Started this race in 7th place, which is why he started the sprint on pole. He's trying to find a way past Tiger Assassin to move his way up into 4th place. Whilst Plague actually 6th behind not Camera Caboon in 5th. Bon Evil drifting and sliding his way under the bridge down at turn 7, leading this race. His teammate behind him, it's a 1-2 for them. Two Saint in 3rd place, Tiger in 4th, Caboon in 5th, Natty and Pierre in 6th and 7th. So we're halfway through this motor race with Bon Evil leading. And now genuinely, this isn't a joke, I've actually just forgotten what I was going to say. What we were just talking about. So I'm just going to pretend that I didn't say anything at all. I'm going to start fresh from here. Let's have a look at further back through the field. Wolfie maintaining 8th place where he started, ahead of Portman's and the Doctor. Aston ahead of Black Country Mush. The Brits had his off down at the first corner. Lap 17, are we going to see any pit stops this lap? No, we're not. Now that the race is over and this is live, I was actually going to pit this lap, but I thought it'd be best to stick in the slipstream of these guys and stay with them one more lap to guarantee the soft tyres would go till the end. I always do like an undercut, but on this occasion I thought I'd just stick with them, seeing as it's not really a technical circuit, more a power track. Yes, you could argue that the middle sector takes up or is favoured to the high downforce cars, or the more technically gifted cars. Gifted's the wrong word because they're not naturally born with this ability. They're not really born; they're manufactured. So I could rephrase that and say the car's less worth. I've forgotten what I was going to say. I forgot what I said. I should stop forgetting things. I've actually forgotten what happened in this race, which is why I was actually so surprised at some of the overtakes in the sprint. So, although I know the outcome of this result, mostly I know who wins, I know who finishes 3rd, and I know where I finish. Apart from that, this is actually streamed nearly a week after this race, because I've been so busy recently with things, going to do some things for EA. I've been to Silverstone twice. It was so good for the first time when I had to do it. I can't actually remember how what that should do. Anyway, I keep waffling on. I'd like some maple syrup with that. Yes, please. Tiger Assassin, X90G, Piero into the pits on lap 18 of 33. The front three all continuing to stay out. Cameron also deciding it's not yet time for him to bring his Lexus into the pits. 5 litres between Tiger Assassin and Piero. This could be quite close between when they all leave. We're not going to watch them put the fuel in. We're going to watch this three-way fight for 8th place. Portman's trying to go for a move down the inside of Wolfie towards the first corner, and he's made the move stick. Nice move from the BWC Mercedes. Now the BWC Mercedes AMG GT3 sandwich. That's a mouthful. It will be if you've got a sandwich that's filled with 2 Mercedes. Not my sandwich of choice. As crucially for Tiger, he's come out ahead of Aston. Natty's not been so fortunate to get ahead of the Brit. He might start thinking, get out of the way, you're holding me up. Indeed, I was slightly thinking that, but of course it's not Aston's job to get out of the way. There's a battle on track for position. Natty's not going to waste any time, as he knows he's going to sit behind, wait for the end of the straight, give Aston actually a little bit of a nudge on the exit of the corner. You can see how much Tiger's already pulled away from Aston F1, but the closest speed, Natty with a good exit actually from turn 10 it seems, so to close down on Aston. Pierre's going to follow him through to the outside at turn 14. Both of them making the move stick and are already right up to the back. Oh, Mr. Tiger Assassin as the front three pull into the pits. Cameron Caboon. Nope, that's Bon Evil. I don't know why I keep calling Bon Evil Cameron Caboon. Probably because... Actually, no, I'm not going to finish. I'm not going to finish that. I'm not going to finish that because I know what will happen. Bon Evil will block me on PlayStation and slap me in the face with a fish. Let's just say I was going to go back to the F1 days and use the word Caboon, but we'll gloss over that. That's in the past. But what's in the present is Cameron Kaboom trying to go for a move on X.EG there, side by side through turn 2 into turn 3, the left-hander of turn 4, still wheel to wheel, the McLaren and the Lexus. These guys have been putting up a really nice battle for what's now 5th place in the circuit, with the Doctors still yet to make a pit stop off of the medium compound tyres. Dutchin Toussaint in off the soft. Look at that, Play Dutch with a 5-second lead over Toussaint. That's how much fuel he's able to save in the pit stops. And it's actually a comment or something that I've been questioning about next season, is how much I want the pit stops to be about fuel saving. Obviously the solution to that is to increase how much the litres per second in the pit stop is. That I think that's probably the best solution to fix that. We're currently running times for refueling speed, so it's not that slow, but it's certainly not quick at all. So fuel saving is an important factor in strategy in the races. It's like if you're Cameron Kaboom, you sit behind Natty and or me and save fuel, so you have a shorter pit stop. In this case, no, you don't. Cameron Kaboom's not going to make another pit stop in this race. But if you were, do you save fuel? Is it worth losing time now and gaining it in the pit stops, or gaining it now and quote unquote losing time in the pit stops? But if no one else saves fuel, then that's fine. Speaking of losing time, not only is Bonnie Evil picked to the 10th penalty, he's gone from 1st to 3rd in the pit stops behind Toussaint. He's actually pretty close to Tiger Assassin, who's bringing Marcus Armstrong and Cameron Kaboom with them. Will be ahead of Aston. These two always seem to end up close to each other on the circuit, no matter how many accidents they may be involved in. Where they start, they always seem to be next to each other on the circuit. You cannot separate them. They are like, let me know in the comments what they are like. What are Aston and Wolfie like? They cannot be separated off and on the track. I don't know about off the track. That's up for them. Up for them to decide. Right on board from the rear wing. That's not the rear wing. That's the rear wing of Mr. Tiger Assassin, as he looks to try and keep X.EG and Cameron Kaboom behind him for the remaining 13 laps in this race. Here comes the Mercedes, McLaren. Not a Mercedes. And now side by side down the start finish straight with 2 grips, wheel to wheel. Tiger with the inside line, super late on the brakes. I think he's seen his ex off at turn 1, but he thinks better of it. Allows Cameron Kaboom to do the old switcheroo and make his way up into 5th place. But there's someone certainly off in the audience making or doing something to these drivers, so they're making them want to hit them at full speed. First it was Black Country Rush, well technically it was the Doctor first, down on lap 1. Then Black Country Rush saw someone or something, and now Tiger Assassin said, had a displeasure for someone in the crowd. Maybe it's his mum with the camera out, like the school plays, shouting, "Come on, son!" Those were the days. If you're still going through those days, good luck. Cameron Kaboom thinking about a move to the inside. He's going to go for it. Late on the brake. Actually doesn't defend this. Takes a nice wide line, switches it back to the inside. A really awkward corner. Especially I was finding it throughout the race. The switchback is sometimes not as effective as you think. But let's ride on board in the cockpit of the McLaren. Gaining all the time, tucked up nicely behind the Lexus. You can see actually the drivers running in 3rd and 2nd place, just ahead of them. Cameron Kaboom defensive to the inside, now he's trying to go round the outside of the Lexus. My voice is going high. God, it's like the old days. I really don't like listening to my old commentary. I feel like such a noob. That's probably the politest way I could have called myself there. But I was listening to a few commentaries the last week, and I start like this, and then there'll be a move, and then I go like this, and then I end up moving like this, and we're really high for some unnecessary reason. I also realised I've gone quite quiet. Apologies, I don't know if I actually am quiet, I'm probably quite loud. Oh, it's a little bit hot in here. Let's open a window. whilst I'm opening the window, I'm also trying to open the door on Camera Kaboom to try and find a way up into 4th place. Down and towards the hairpin. Is it going to be a lunge to the inside? No, it's not. You know what? I think we've had enough waffle this race. Let's go to serious commentary for the final 10 laps of the race. When I do mean serious, I do mean, don't mean like, you'll see. Less of this, less waffle, more words. So lap 24 of 33, and Playduchy leads this race with a sizable gap to Saint behind, under pressure from Bon Evil after the pit stop phase. Cam Kaboom in 4th place. He's got X-Strategy and Tiger close behind him, under pressure to try and defend this 4th position, running actually a little bit wide under the bridge. Piero running in 7th place, kind of in no man's land. Portman's in 8th, head of the Doctor in 9th. We've got Wolfie in 10th place, still with Aston in 11th. And Black Country Mesh just missing out on the points in 12th place, but has set his personal best lap, the last lap. But let's have a look at this battle for 2nd place between Toussaint and Bon Evil. Also going to keep an eye on the cars behind. Cam Kaboom slows down for, I think it was half a second as he serves the time penalty, and that promotes the McLaren up into 4th place. Marshals waving the green flag. They have been. That must be a really sore arm for those marshals waving that flag for the past 35 minutes. Nevertheless, it does mean we can go green flag racing as we have been all season long. Here goes Bon Evil looking to try and go for a move on Toussaint down and towards the first corner, but he's not close enough to go for a move, nor is Cam Kaboom, and Tiger Assassin's just slowly but surely working his way back up to the 2 cars in front after running wide at the first corner. A couple of laps to go. There might have been a car wide. I think that was Cam Kaboom. A little bit of dust and dirt being kicked up on the exit of turn 1. Fastest lap currently a 1 minute 25.4 by Natty in the McLaren. And if anyone else can beat that, then they will take the points. But for now, that point is going to myself. Toussaint might be under pressure from Bon Evil. Alfa Romeo is really quick in a straight line, and this track has got 2 long straights. They're now wheel to wheel down the back straight, going in towards the hairpin for the 25th time this race. Toussaint's going to try and hold it round the outside, or more rather set himself up for a move in towards the first corner. Turn 1 and turn 14 are the 2 prime overtaking opportunities down at this circuit. You can see the closing speed of the Mercedes as he looks to try and go for a move on the Alfa Romeo down towards turn 1. No, bump drafts the Alfa Romeo. Interestingly, going in towards the first corner. Not what I was expecting. Maybe Toussaint still believes he can catch up to the back of Playduchy, who's going through turn 4 whilst these guys are through turn 2 and 3. Gap's not massive, it's not as big as we've seen, but it's definitely going to take some work between the 2 of them to close down the gap to the race leader. Natty going 6,000ths purple on his fastest lap time, so really putting the foot down in this race. He's dropped Cam Kaboom by about 1 second as Tiger Assassin's now within a slipstream of the Lexus in front. 3 different nationalities in terms of car manufacturers, but it's a British 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in this race. As Aston is about, I'd say, 3 seconds behind his rival, his arch nemesis. Wolfie running in 10th place. He's 2 positions down from his original qualifying position. Bon Evil and Toussaint making their way through the first corner. Running in 2nd and 3rd place. Is Tiger Assassin close enough to go for a move on Cameron Kaboom? Not on this occasion, he isn't. But we'll certainly be trying to look to get ahead of the Lexus and move up into 5th place. Wind speed slightly changing once again, now more facing, well, coming from the northwest towards the southeast, so a slight tailwind going in towards the hairpin, turn 14. So once again the drivers have to adjust their braking points for the 2 heavy braking zones at this track, turn 1, turn 14. Back up to the battle for 2nd place in this race. Looks like Bon Evil's just got a little bit of a margin over Toussaint as he goes purple to the middle sector, albeit by 200ths of a second. As Play Dutchy leads this race, what's that? 5 seconds ahead of Bon Evil and Toussaint. Looks like Cameron Kaboom's closed down that gap to the McLaren in front. A poor lap on lap 26 has brought the Brits closer to the back of X-Natty G, as Toussaint is, I think, struggling to keep up with Bon Evil at this rate, maybe saving the tyres, and we'll go for an attack later on in this race. That might be the game plan for your Season 1 and Season 6 champion. Reserve those soft compound tyres, wait for the Alpha to chew through his, and then pounce like a lion towards the end of this race. We'll keep an eye on it. Not long left to go. 5 laps to go when Play Dutchy crosses the start-finish line, which he will do in about 40 seconds. It's been a pretty boring race for this man. Piero running in 7th place. He's about 10 seconds behind Tiger Assassin and 20 seconds ahead of the 2 BWT Mercedeses that are running low on the fuel. Looks like Gorman's made a strategical error here by quite a number of laps. 6 laps to be exact. The fuel light's already on. Not usually, but that's quite concerning, unless he's on an interesting 2-stop, which definitely will not work, unfortunately for him. Reason being, he's got the Doctor right behind him, as well as Wolfie and Aston F1, so he's definitely going to lose positions there. Someone who's looking to gain a position is Cameron Kaboom as they make their way down the start-finish straight, starting lap 29 of 33. Cameron goes to the inside, down towards turn 1. Natty's going to try and swoop it round the outside. Can he hold it with a wide outside line? Beautifully held on the outside, if I have to say so myself. Side by side between these two, a little bit of wheel banging as they go through turn 2 and 3. Cameron's onto the grass, but he's ahead of X-Natty G. The McLaren trying to set himself up for a move on the Lexus. He's going to look to the inside, but Cameron Kaboom gets the move done and is up into 4th place. To go under the tunnel and through the twisty, winding sections of the downhill parts of the middle sector, over the bridge, over the river, as they approach the back straight through the tunnels, the headlights illuminating the track in front of them as Bon Evil slows down to serve a time penalty, and Toussaint goes through up into 7th place and is ahead of Bon Evil. Behind, Natty now side by side, wheel to wheel with the Lexus, has the inside line for the hairpin. Can he get back up into 4th place? Yes he can, but only briefly. Here comes Cameron Kaboom with the good old switcheroo. Just going to flick it up front because the Mercedes of Toussaint is going to be under pressure from the Alfa Romeo from Bonnie, but it's not even going to contest. Bonnie was already ahead before they get to the braking zone of turn 1. Is Toussaint going to send one back down the inside? Indeed he is. Bonnie's going to try and hold it round the outside. Meanwhile in the background, they're 3 wide. Natty's swooping it to the outside, so it gets ahead of Tiger Assassin and Cameron Kaboom, who run side by side, and Toussaint gets the move back done up inside, down towards the first corner. Behind, Natty with a double overtake, maintaining 4th place in this race ahead of Cameron and Tiger. We've got 2 great battles on our hands for 4th and 2nd place, with only 4 laps to go in this race. It's hard to keep an eye on both battles at the same time, but I'll certainly do my best to distribute the screen time evenly between these two fights. We've also got Aston on the back of Wolfie, as you can see, going through turns 2 and 3 on the mini-map. Toussaint goes defensive to the inside. And forces Bonnie to the outside. Contact between the two. As Bonnie will swoops around the outside of Toussaint. In the background, you can see Natty defending the position from Cameron Kaboom, but I don't think Cameron's close enough to send it on this lap. Next rider board in the cockpit of Toussaint is gaining and gaining and gaining, and Bonnie is behind the Alfa Romeo, still behind the Alfa Romeo, but will be looking to try and be alongside and get ahead. Under the bridge they go. Bonnie will very defensive to the inside. As Pierre is into the pits, Toussaint tries to go round the outside, but they're 3 wide once again. Natty sent into a drift through the first corner. Tiger's gone from 6th to 4th, Natty from 4th to 6th. Cameron's held position in this dramatic finale of this race. 3 wide for the second time in 2 laps between these 3 drivers, really putting on a good show for you viewers watching at home. But Bonnie will now up into 2nd place after getting ahead and staying ahead of Mercedes. Tiger from 6th to 4th. Let me know what you think the order will be between these 3 and the 2 cars in front. Here comes Toussaint trying to go for a move on Bonnie, or maybe down towards the hairpin. Is the Alfa going to defend, or is the Mercedes going to send it? It's option B. Toussaint on the inside. Can he make this move stick? Not on this occasion. Let's look back down to the battle for 4th place, whilst we still just about have enough time in this race. Dutchy starts the penultimate lap of this race, lap 32 of 33. As Bonnieville 99 tries to stay ahead of Toussaint. Down towards turn 1. Is Toussaint going to send it down the inside, wheel to wheel, with Bonnieville's ran a little bit wide, down towards the first corner, and Toussaint's made the move stick. 3 wide for the 3rd time in 3 laps. Cameron's gone a little bit wide. Natty with the switch back up into 5th place. But the 3rd time that these 3 drivers are 3 wide on that 32 of 33. They are changing positions like, I don't know what changes a lot. The weather in Britain, actually it's always raining here. Apart from now, it's actually dry. Actually, they're changing a lot, like a Formula E race in Berlin. There we go. For all the Formula E fans out there, that one's for you. But we've not got long left into this race. This is where the commentary starts to rack up a few knots, and we go up a few levels on the spice. Bonnieville moving late on the braking, that might be looked at actually. Didn't spot that before, and he looks like he might have pushed Toussaint a little bit wide and off the track. Tiger, his teammate, now down the inside of Natty in towards the final corner. I'll have to get another look at that on the replay after this race, but Toussaint picked up a 5-10 penalty for it. Not sure he's going to be particularly happy about that, but that's the battle for 2nd place over in this race as they start the final lap of the race. Toussaint with a 5-10 penalty. They're 3 wide for the 4th time in 4 laps. Tiger with the inside line. Natty's going to try and swoop it around the outside of all 3 of them. He's got Cameron Kaboom. Can he get Tiger Assassin as well? Beautifully held around the outside, but forced onto the grass. Not enough tarmac left for him to go. Tiger on the outside of Cameron Kaboom. These 2 side by side through the first sector for the final time in this race. Dirt and gravel being kicked up as Tiger with the inside. Natty trying to follow him through with the inside for turn number 7. The McLaren on the inside of Alexis keeps it nice and tight to the inside as they go under for the bridge for the final time this race. Play Dutchy with a massive tank slapper. We're actually going to get another look at that because I want to see Dutchy nearly bottle it. I just saw it on the map. Here on the final lap, Play Dutchy in the bright orange Porsche. Nearly bottles it on the final lap of the race, but that's not going to stop the action behind what it could have been if Toussaint hadn't picked up the 5-10 penalty. Looks like he could finish in 3rd place. We're definitely on a high level of spice, higher than Nando's offer in their burgers. But not long left to go. Dutchy rounds the hairpin for the final time this race. Bonnieville now ahead of Toussaint. Here comes the Natty G side by side with Tiger Assassin, who's defensive in towards the hairpin for one last time in this race. Natty's late on the brakes. tries to swoop it right round the outside of Tiger Assassin. They're going to be wheel to wheel down the start finish straight. I'm just going to flick it back up to the race leader because Playduchy wins the Swiss Grand Prix ahead of Bonnie, but in second and Toussaint in ninth, in third. But here we go, they're side by side. Natty and Tiger wheel to wheel. The Porsche versus the McLaren. The two Brits side by side, wheel to wheel, door to door. Who's going to get it? Three wide. It's a photo finish across the line. The Tiger in fourth and Natty in fifth ahead of Cameron Kaboom in sixth. And I can tell you the gap was about 200ths between those two across the line. But a dramatic end to the race. Let's get a couple more views on that. Don't really know who's going to be best. Let's get Cameron Kaboom's take on it. Side by side, Cameron didn't know where to go. But it's wheel to wheel across the line. Gets a little bump that sees Tiger across the line ahead of ex-Natty G. I want to see how close that actually was. Let's have a look. We've had quite a few photo finishes in the past. Well, it doesn't look pretty close, but I blame the bump that Cameron Kaboom gave. I think Tiger Assassin just moved over to the left-hand side, which gave the edge to the Porsche, but it was really, really close at the end between those two. Let's get back to the live action. Cameron Kaboom in 6th place. Piero with a very lonely race in 7th place. Pitted for a fastest lap actually. Let's see if he can get it. Take it off of myself. Can he beat a 1 minute 25.4 up to the line? Will Piero get the fastest lap and claim an extra point? No, he won't, but it was a good effort nevertheless. The Doctor will finish in 8th place. Good points for him. Wolfie will finish in 9th, ahead of Aston in 10th place, and it's a spin and backward finish across the line for him. Aston in 10th, Black Country Mush in 11th will take the final point on offer for tonight's race. As Mercedes takes the checkered flag, finishes in 11th place, and Fort Mines on his debut slightly messed up the strategy with the fuel, but finishes nevertheless in 12th place. I don't know what to say. What a dramatic end to a dramatic, chaotic, action-packed weekend of racing. 2 races, 2 outstandingly great, entertaining race. I say great in terms of entertainment value. In terms of a stewarding value, they might be busy after this one. But let's ignore that. Let's go through your finishing grid for this race. Round number 7, Season 7, GT7 of the Swiss Grand Prix here at the Forest Raceway. Fort Mines finishes in 12th place, Black Country Mush in 11th, Aston beaten by Wolfie, who finishes in 10th, the Irishman in 9th, the Doctor in 8th, behind Piero in 7th, Cameron Kaboom in 6th place, behind Natty, who got the fastest lap of the, who claimed the fastest lap of the race, finishes in 5th, 200ths behind Tiger Assassin in 4th place, behind the Porsche, once again, I should add. But your top 3, Toussaint taking another 3rd place this season on the podium, Bonneville in 2nd place, and Playduchy takes another win, his 6th from 7? Yeah, his 6th win from 7, not including the sprint races. And I said this I said this last week. Doctor's going to have a lot of photos of his car. This is a nice one right here. There we go. We'll go up close. And then we'll zoom out. Look it down slightly. And there we go. Here is a nice, beautiful shot of your race winner, who extends his championship lead over Bonneville and Piero in 3rd and 2nd place in the championship, respectively. Hope you guys have enjoyed this race as much as I have. Make sure to subscribe to the Twitch with Prime if you can, and drop us a like and subscribe on YouTube. Join our Discord if you want to chat to the drivers or become a driver yourself. Link to that can be found in the description or on the website. Just type Gavra Racing into your search engine of choice. Unless it's Bing, then we have an issue. But apart from that, it's been a pleasure commentating and racing once again in this beautiful league with these wonderful drivers. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Apologies for the commentary. Some parts weren't great, I do admit. But other than that, I've enjoyed it. Nevertheless, I hope you do enjoy. That's the reason I do it, for your pleasure. Ooh, that's my chair, by the way. That's not me. If you can hear that, if you heard that during the stream, that was not me. That's my chair. So yeah, some of the comments, some of this commentary was rough. Some of it flowed quite nicely. So that's positive to take away from myself. Apologies about anything that might offend any viewers or drivers. Any jokes or sarcastic comments that I make, like Black Country aiming for his ex in the crowd. That's just a little bit of fun, a little bit of banter to lighten up the mood. Obviously, if it's not good, please let me know, and I'll avoid making any personal comments. Obviously, I don't make personal comments. I don't insult anyone. I only insult people in a light-hearted way. For example, I'm a better Premier Series champion than Two Saints. But apart from that, that's where we're going to leave the stream. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next week. Not next week, it's a break week. Week after, Mount Panorama. I'm Max 90G, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.